We'll be featuring in this Blink series some of the major highlights, some of the new evidence that has come out in the last few years. Well, how can we reasonably believe in a creative entity? Well, in 1927, when Father Georges Lemaitre discovered the Big Bang Theory, which is today one of the most rigorously established cosmological theories that there is, for a long time it was thought, when this discovery of Lemaitre was combined with the Friedman models and the possibility of a singularity, it was thought that the beginning of the universe was actually the Big Bang. So 13.7 billion years ago, the universe was just simply thrown into existence out of nothing and exploded and went through the stages we've already talked about. By the way, many physicists today still believe that that is the case. But since that day, there have been several theories that have postulated the possibility, because of inflationary theory and quantum cosmology, have postulated the possibility that perhaps there was some kind of prior stage, that the universe existed prior to the Big Bang. And one of the big theories is called a multiverse. And the multiverse is like a huge mega universe in which little bubble universes are popping out. And these bubble universes that pop out of this mega universe, well, one of them could be ours. And so in a way, you could say, well, maybe the multiverse goes back infinitely and you don't have a beginning. Alternatively, there's the so-called oscillating theory, where the universe is bouncing, expanding and contracting and expanding and recontracting, etc. And if these two theories were right, and there was a period prior to the Big Bang, it was thought, well, maybe it's just possible that the universe could have extended infinitely back in time, at least from a scientific possibility. But that doesn't seem to be the case any longer. We have two large pieces of evidence for this. The first is what we call space-time geometry proofs. And I can't go through all of them with you today, but there's one in 1993 proposed by Arvind at the Kavli Institute at the University of California, Santa Barbara, and Alexander Vilenkin over at Tufts University in Boston. And this particular proof at that time indicated that it was possible, if the universe or any multiverse to which it could be attached met 5 conditions, then there would have to be a beginning of that universe or multiverse, or even oscillating universe. In 1999, an American cosmologist by the name of Alan Guth also did some modeling of the universe and tried to look at all the scientific models for our universe, or perhaps even multiverses to which our universe could be attached, to determine whether or not they could go infinitely back into time. And he determined at that point that the universe or multiverse could be eternal into the future, but not into the past. That too would have to have a beginning. Then in 2003, the 3 physicists came together and proposed what's called now the BVG Theorem, or the Bothra-Vilenkin-Guth Theorem, in which essentially they established that any universe or any multiverse or even any bouncing universe in string theoretical higher dimensions, any model basically of an inflationary universe, just as long as it has an average Hubble expansion greater than 0, an average expansion of the rate or expansion rate of the universe as a whole, which is greater than 0, it has to have a beginning. And by the way, this proof still stands today. Alexander Vilenkin talked about this proof in January at Stephen Hawking's birthday party. And we see that then every single universe, every multiverse would seem to have a beginning. Furthermore, we have a second piece of evidence that would seem to indicate that all prior states would have to have a beginning, and that's entropy. And entropy is the state of disorganization which occurs over time. So we begin with complex organized systems, but eventually that organization breaks down as energy is expended, work is done, right? Eventually we see that the universe is going to run down, and eventually it's going to die. It's going to kind of hit thermodynamic equilibrium. But our universe hasn't died at all. Far from it. We have very low entropy in this universe, which clearly indicates that the universe has not been around forever. Now, when we combine these two pieces of evidence, it looks very seriously like there was a beginning of the universe. And let me just tell you why this is so significant. Because a beginning of the universe in physics entails a beginning of physical time itself. Thus, prior to the beginning, prior to this point at which the universe seems to have come into existence, or any multiverse to which it could be attached, prior to that beginning point, the universe and its physical time was nothing. Now we know one thing about nothing. Nothing is nothing, and nothing can't do anything. Nothing can only do nothing. Therefore, when the universe was nothing prior to the beginning, it could not have brought itself from nothing to something, at which point we have a problem. Something else would have to have done it. And what would that be? It has to be transcendent. It has to be powerful. It has to be able to create the universe, its physical time, and its constants as a whole. That creative entity, which is applied by a beginning, we call God. And it is not only known by faith, it can also be known by science and reason. You can learn a lot more through our new film documentary, Cosmic Origins, featuring 8 world-class physicists, available through Ignatius Press.